We're filming today for the Hamilton College Jazz Archive. My name is Monk Rowe, and it's a great pleasure to have with me Mr. Jimmy Witherspoon here in Sarasota, Florida. I had a long trip out to the East Coast, I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, from California.
Right. Well, I'm glad you're here, and just want to spend a few minutes talking about your career. And did you have some church influence when you grew up?
Yeah. You know that.
Singing in the Baptist church?
Still do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still sing in church occasionally.
Yeah. And did I read that you were in the Merchant Marine?
I was in Merchant Marine in World War II.
When you were growing up, was it mostly the radio and that you heard at home?
Well, they had no television then.
Right.
When I grew up, I must divulge my age now. Now I'm 73.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, when I was a kid, there was no television.
Yeah. What kind of music was going on in your home?
Jimmy Luxford, Count Basie, Benny Goodman, Artie Shaw, Andy Kurt, J. McShann, those kind of people.
Some of those people who you later on in life
That's right.
became pretty familiar with.
Duke Ellington, naturally.
Mm-hmm. Right. Now, from what I've read, you had a interesting first experience in performing music halfway around the world.
What do you mean?
Didn't you sing with a group in, was it Calcutta?
Calcutta.
Yeah. Can you tell me about that?
That was
How
Teddy Whitaker.
how did that come about?
I was in the service.
Uh-huh.
I just walked up and sang, that's
Yeah.
all. And that was it.
Had he been there for a while?
Yes,
Yeah,
he
well,
had.
yeah.
Teddy had been in China
Uh-huh.
with Buck Clayton, Country Roberts, and that bunch.
That's right. Buck Clayton was one of the first fellows to go over that part of the
Well,
world.
yeah. So he stayed,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest of them came back.
Did you have aspirations at that time when you were in the Merchant Marine to be
Oh,
a
yeah.
singer?
To be I was trying to sing like the Ink Spots did. But that night I sang a Wynonie Harris
Uh-huh.
blues. That was it.
I guess they must have liked you, huh?
They did.
And when you got home, how long were you in the Merchant Marine until?
I was there about 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a veteran now. They did give us veteran
They
status.
did. That's right. Not that long ago.
Well, actually, we were in the war before America declared war. We were. They was keeping it quiet, but we were actually making the Murmansk run, taking ammunition to Burma by way of via Calcutta,
Mm-hmm.
and the public, America didn't know it. Nobody knew it.
The war effort was already
The
underway.
war effort was.
Yeah.
We were taking ammunition to England. See, but on the paper it just said England fighting.
Right.
But it wasn't.
But you were in danger because of the submarines.
Oh,
and
we
all
did.
that?
Oh, they was taking that.
Yeah.
So they finally changed the Congress, voted us, and well, we were under the Coast Guard anyway during that time.
Mm-hmm.
So they made us veterans.
Did you sign, when you sign into the Merchant Marine, you sign for a certain amount of time?
Right.
You don't just say, I'm tired of this, I want to go.
Well, during that time, you couldn't do that.
Uh-huh.
If you did that, like I said, we were more or less in the war
Mm-hmm.
because we couldn't just get out there.
Yeah. Well, that's really interesting. And when you got out of the service, you came back to, did you end up in Kansas City, or did you?
Vallejo,
Vallejo,
California.
California.
Then that's where I joined Jay McShane.
Uh-huh.
That's where that's where the mess started.
Would you do it again? And who did you replace? Or did he have a singer before?
Walter Brown, and he had some other little singer for a little while. But really, it was Walter Brown.
Mm-hmm. He had a few records that were fairly well known, right?
Hit records.
Yeah.
Jumping the Blues.
Yeah. But it wasn't long before you had your own.
That's right.
That's right. And what was?
Pardon me, with
yeah.
Jay McShane playing piano.
Yeah.
He came and did that for me.
Mm-hmm.
I just got to having breakfast with him.
Should be interesting concert tonight. I can't wait. What was the work like at that time? Were you playing dances, little clubs?
Dances, big,
Mm-hmm.
big clubs, big ballrooms.
Uh-huh. Was the audience at that time, was it segregated?
Sure, it was segregated.
Yeah.
We had to go in the back of restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
I remember a time in Miami. I could go to a club on the beach where the Jewish people couldn't go.
That's strange.
And
Yeah.
that's
And this is in the 50s?
no, this was in the 40s.
Uh-huh.
This was bad.
Oh,
This was bad.
yeah.
I could go on the beach because I was an entertainer. I could go in the club, but the Jews couldn't come in. And people talk about prejudice, racism, and all that. It's always been there. It always will be.
Mm-hmm. Has the music helped to make it any better?
No,
No?
no. What has happened is you have some wonderful people in music, like Bunny Raitt, Van Morrison, real. But you got a lot of phonies in the music business who could help bridge that gap. Like the Rolling Stones, who couldn't keep a beat if you give them 20 drums. Mick Jagger could learn a lot by putting a black artist on some of his concerts.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's stolen so much from
Mm-hmm.
us. I'm not bitter, but I am aware of what they've done.
Yeah.
And it hurts sometimes.
Sure.
But Van Morrison just called me the other day. He's called me 3 times, and just a couple of times just say hello.
Mm-hmm.
Last time he called was 4 days ago, asking would I play with him in New York for 4 days this month. Now, we are so tight until there was no money discussed. You know why? Because he's going to pay me what I'm worth.
Mm-hmm. A gentleman's agreement.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's something we don't discuss.
Yeah.
He knows what I'm worth.
Glad to hear that.
Yes.
When is that going to happen?
It's going to happen the 26, 27, 28, 29, this month.
All right.
Yeah.
In a club?
It's in a club. I forget what the name
Uh-huh.
is. It's all sold out.
That's
It's
exciting.
sold out anyway.
Yeah. Actually, oh, that's great. When you first started recording with Jay McShane, and what was a record session like compared to these days? Did you go in and kind of do the whole album and
We do the whole album in probably 6 hours.
yeah?
3 hours a day, 3 hours the next day. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
probably with 2 microphones.
Yeah. One for you and one for the band?
One for the band. And one for Jay.
Yeah.
About 3.
Yeah. It worked, didn't it?
It was with Count Basie.
Yeah.
And do you know what? 2 tracks still
Mm-hmm.
is the best form of recording. 2 tracks.
Yeah.
Because you got everybody there.
And they're listening to each other.
They're listening to each other.
We just got through watching some old Basie movies. You could hear everything, even the bass. Could hear everything. Could hear the singing. Now, didn't you travel to Japan with Basie?
Yep. How'd you know that?
I've been doing some reading. What was that like?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Being with Basie, man, was... I wish I could afford to stay in that band. He and I talked, and financially, he couldn't pay me what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But that was like being the vice president of the United States. What Benny Powell, what a great band. I was in the best band.
Yeah. With Benny and
Frank West,
Foster-
Frank Foster, you name him.
Oh, man.
Marshall Rowe,
Marshall Royal. Who was the
Ernie
rhythm?
Rowe,
Uh-huh. Who was the rhythm section at that time? Sonny Payne, maybe?
Sonny Payne,
Yeah.
Buddy Catlett.
Uh-huh. That must
Buddy
have...
Catlett's in that new movie I just did, Georgia.
Oh,
That's him playing bass with me.
all right. Can't wait to see that.
Yeah, with Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Mm-hmm. Must have felt pretty good to stand in front of that group. And what was the audience reaction like in Japan?
Great.
Yeah. Tell me about your the hits you had with Jay McShann. Were these songs that
I didn't have no hit with me.
well,
The
what was
hit
it be?
that he recorded with me
Yeah,
was Ain't Nobody's Business.
right.
That was a big one.
It's right on here.
Yep.
Will you sign that for us before you leave
I
today?
sure will.
All right. Good to hear it. You did that song in 40, was it
49.
49. And did it get a lot of airplay at that time?
Yes.
Yeah.
The one, see, I can't understand this system. During that time, it was mostly white disc jockeys, but they had black shows. You had Nashville, Tennessee, where you could get him all over America.
Mm-hmm.
But it was white disc jockeys. You had the Atlanta, Georgia. White disc jockeys was the top jockeys. You got black jockeys today who won't play black music. I mean black blues.
Mm-hmm.
That's a funny. That's kind of funny, isn't it?
It's funny, and it's still going on because tonight your audience,
Will be white.
will be white,
I know it will.
and they love the music. And
They know what it is.
They know what it is, and I can't understand it either.
That was Randy's record shop. Used to be from Nashville, Tennessee.
Uh-huh.
Nothing but rhythm and blues.
Well, that's the foundation for rock and roll too.
I know
You
it.
know,
What's his name was in Cleveland?
Alan Freed.
Alan Freed. Leonard Chess set him up.
And-
So you had Hunter Hancock was in Los Angeles. So you had big white disc jockeys. And I mean, they were selling records.
Mm-hmm. And then you had Sam Phillips making recording in Memphis
That's right.
and recording some great black artists, but he didn't really make his money until he found Elvis,
No,
who was singing Black music.
black music.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I was recording with RCA Victor that week that, I'm trying to think of his name, went down the sign presser and
From RCA.
from RCA.
Yeah, I can't recall his name either.
Anyway, he came back, we was in the studio. He said, man, I just signed, God, I know I'm gonna get fired. He said, because we gave him so much money. And that's who it was.
Oh,
I'm trying to think of it. I was in, RCA Victor still got those tapes that I did was
Yeah.
doing that.
wasn't his manager you're talking about? Not Oh, okay. This was a RCA man.
Was the RCA man.
Well, I guess he didn't get fired.
No, he didn't.
So, what was it like? I don't know if you can describe it. What was it like being on the road, in the late 40s and early 50s?
Oh, it was fun. I had a lot of fun.
Traveled mostly by bus or
Cars.
small cars? Because you had a fairly small group
Cars,
at that time, yeah.
station-wide.
Mm-hmm. Did you have agents that set up your work for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Uh-huh. Where's
But it's more fun now.
accommodations a little better? Most of the time. And you get to fly, I guess. What, since tell me about the Monterey Jazz Festival, which seems to have been a nice
My
point
mother
in your
was there.
career. Your mother was there.
Oh, the first time she'd ever heard me sing the blues in person.
Kidding.
No. She's a very religious woman,
Mm-hmm.
and she wouldn't go to no nightclub.
Yeah.
And delightful.
So there you are at the Monterey Jazz Festival with some pretty good sidemen.
The funny thing about that night, the audience didn't know I was there. They found me in Newport, Kentucky. So I wasn't even on the bill. And everybody was leaving, and Jimmy Lyon said, hold it, we're not through. And they called me, I was with some insignificant musicians by the name of Ben Webster. Who else was that? Barbara Brookmeyer, Roy Eldridge, Woody Herman,
Man,
Coleman Hawkins, Earl Hines. What can you say?
you broke it up, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
we did.
That's fantastic. What's in the future for you? We got Van Morrison coming up.
I'm going to England on the 5th of next month.
Mm-hmm.
Going to London for 2 days.
When you go overseas, do you take musicians with you, or you work with a band over there?
As I take your sand to the beach. No, it's hard sometimes, but I'll get along.
Yeah. People, maybe their concept is a little bit different, or
As long as they can play good jazz,
yeah,
they can play blues,
yeah. What kind of occasions have you had to be on stage with other singers? Some of the other singers you've worked with.
Everybody.
Everybody.
B.B. King,
Yeah.
Bobby Blue Band, Albert King. But I just heard a record the other day by Freddie King, the late Freddie King. I didn't even know he could. Ain't nobody's business.
Oh, no kidding.
And I was delighted.
Have you ever sung with Joe Williams on the same stage?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. Looking forward to seeing Joe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Give him my regards.
I certainly will. And tonight you do a set with Jay and
Fiddler.
the fiddler, Plas Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't even know who's going to be on.
yeah. Well, we'll find out. I guess that's the beauty of this music is as long as you have capable musicians, you can
You don't have no problem.
get together and great.
That's why all these rehearsals are stupid. It's hard on these musicians who know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
They've been doing it for 50 years. You want to call a rehearsal,
Mm-hmm.
sound check. Those are for children.
Mm-hmm.
Those are for rock and rollers. I'm serious.
Yeah.
For jazz, in other words, they can make a sound check. By the time the musicians start, we work hundreds of years to see how to project our voice. And here's a guy turning knobs.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I mean?
Doing it for you.
Doing it for you, he can't do it. Not for jazz.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna sound the same.
Yep.
So it's really stupid, really.
Yeah, times change and not always for the better as far as that goes, I guess.
And everybody loved, if they're a sound check man, they love to turn those damn knobs. And they don't know what the hell they're doing. They love to turn. I think they wanted to be musicians.
Yeah, I think so.
They couldn't play saxophone. So they turned knobs.
Yeah. And they call it a gig.
Gig. Oh, what time's the sound check? And they would wait for months to do that sound check.
Uh-huh. Oh, my. Well, this has really been fascinating. You tired yet? Because we can keep talking if you want.
No, I'm tired.
All right.
Whatever you are.
We're so glad you were able to join us, and I want to wish you best of luck with Van Morrison. I hope he's up to playing next to you.
Oh, you kidding? He's always. You know, I'll tell you something about him. We were riding in a car in Chicago, and I said, listen, I'm not kissing your behind. I want to tell you something. You remind me of Duke Ellington. He said, what way? I says, if you need a musician, a horn, saxophone, whatever, for 2 bars, that's all you want them for. He said, you're right. I said, that's the way Duke was. Whether you could read or not didn't make Duke no. If you could do what he wanted done on that tune,
Mm-hmm.
that's all he was interested in.
Yeah.
And what you call him is the same way. Van Morrison.
Uh-huh. They know how to pick the right people.
They
for
know
the-
how to pick, yeah. They take their music serious.
As you do, I'm sure.
I do. It's
Yeah,
a personal thing with me.
right. Okay. Well, thanks so much on behalf of
Thank
Hamilton
you.
College.
Monk,
It's been a real pleasure.
what a great name.
It does me all right.
He was a big fan of mine. Well, we were a fan of each other.
Yeah.
And when I played used to play the Trident in Sarasota, he and his wife would come over. Matter of fact, he's invited me to his house. I've been to
Yeah.
when he lived in the pit house. I remember I walked in one night and he put on some old tune. I said, Monk, is that you? He says, boy, I'm gonna kid you.
He did such great things with the blues too. You know, the
Well,
way.
he stole so much from J. McShane.
Uh-huh.
Blue Monk, that's J. McShane. Ba ba da ba ba ba. That's J. McShane. I told him about it. He said, well, so?